This weekend, come along with me as I renovate the outdoor space of my Japanese house. This is actually my first summer living in the house, and it's getting really warm already, with today hitting a top of 30 degrees. I want to install a shade sail to cool down the living room. The sun can bear in the morning. It's not so bad in the afternoon, but in the morning it's getting pretty hot. Today I also want to make a beer garden. I want to go to the 100 yen shop and check out all the camping gear. And finally I'm going to have a barbecue out the back and drink some beer. I'd love it if you'd stick around with me as I do some improvements to the house this weekend. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know that this house was an Akiya, or a vacant, unoccupied house. It came with a few issues which I have totally sorted now. But now I'm just at the decoration phase and making it into my own. Someone recently sent me a message and asked would I have still bought the house if I knew it had the problems it did. Now that the problems are all sorted, I can comfortably say yes, definitely. I'm at the phase where I'm loving the location. It's only a 7-minute walk to my closest train station and really just a 5-minute drive to my workplace. So I'm finding the convenience of this house outweighs any of the negative aspects. A lot of the cosmetic things I can do on a tight budget and as I can afford. But all in all, the house is just so comfortable, practical, and really suits my needs. I got the shade sail from the Conan hardware store for around 1,200 yen. I also picked up some stretchy oki straps to give it some flexibility in the wind. The straps were about 150 yen. The shade sail says it cuts out 85% of UV, and straight away I can feel the difference standing under here. I think the white also goes nicely with the outdoor slats I put up when I first moved in. With such a small space, I've brought in the colour white to make it just feel crisp and clean and a bit larger. A few weeks ago I planted some veggies and things. I'm trying to keep the garden organic and not use any chemicals. But check out the eggplant, so far so good. I've got some capsicum, some chilies, some parsley, shallots, strawberries, lots and lots of different things. Do you remember how small the tomatoes were? Check them out now. I love coming out in the morning and watering the garden before I go to work. I've also managed to grow Millie her own cat grass. I'm finding this more economical and she's eating it. Last week I told you I introduced Millie to a water fountain and I have to say she's loving it just in time for summer. Finally, what a relief. So I'm going to get started on the beer garden, and my plan is to cover up the ugly bricks, and I want to add some green plants and make a bit of a table. I found these large blinds at the hardware store and I think these might do the trick. But before we go any further, I want to tell you about my Japanese courses. As you already know, I'm a qualified Japanese language teacher. And I've been teaching Japanese for over 20 years now. I've been working to create a multimodal style beginner's course for Japanese, which starts at the very foundation, and it's the best way to learn Japanese. It's through phonics and alphabet. I've used this method to teach thousands of students in my past teaching career, and I know it really works. I'm so proud of each and every student who's doing the course and achieving their goal. If you'd like to know more, just go to www.cheneyjapan.com and have a look around the website. As I mentioned, I got this blind at the hardware store. It cost me 990 yen and it's quite a large one. I'm going to wire it up to the existing frame because I think this might be the strongest way to hold it in place. I'm being careful not to block too much of the breeze that comes through here because it is nice when there is an afternoon breeze. You may have seen that my house has a lane at the back of my house and a road at the front. So this lane means that I'm quite private in the backyard and I'm well separated from any houses that are behind me. Also, both my neighbours on either side have their living areas on the opposite side of mine. So I'm really lucky in some ways that when I'm out in the backyard, I've got really no one around me looking in, and it's really quite private and separate from other houses. This is one of the features that really appealed to me about this house. Because my house is in a suburban area, I did want to be able to have a bit of privacy when I was in my backyard. I also don't want to annoy my neighbours when I'm sitting out the back, and the good thing is I won't be annoying them here because we're a really long distance away from each other. I got this cute cat bug repellent at the 100 yen shop. Stick around, I'm going to show you all the awesome camping gear I found at 100 yen shops. So I'm planting out some flowers today just to make the area look nice, and all my spinach and winter lettuce has died now, so I'm changing out the seeds in these pots, and I'm going to plant some sunflowers and some other hardy lettuce that might see me through summer. One of the things I used to love doing when I was living in Australia was having a garden. So to have a garden in Japan was something that was high on my list of priorities when I was looking for a house. And I know this place only has a couple of small garden beds. Because of my work schedule, it's plenty enough space for me just to have a little bit of a hobby garden and enjoy some of the fruits of my labor. Having a garden gives me a great excuse to go outside every morning and water the plants and just soak up the morning sun. I find having a garden is a really great part of my morning routine, and I don't even mind pulling out the weeds if I just do a little bit each day. Do you have a garden at your place, or do you like to grow veggies in pots on a veranda? I'd love to hear from you in the comments about what you're growing in your garden at the moment, or if you have any tips for my garden. Also, I found out that 68% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed yet. I'd love it if you'd subscribe and join our community. Well, this morning I've been out in the sun all day and I'm starting to fade a little bit, so it's time to have a little rest and bring Miss Millie out to give her stamp of approval. Millie's such a funny cat. She's been howling to come outside ever since I started working out here. And now she has the chance. She's not sure she wants to come outside, so I have to give her a little bit of encouragement to walk out the door. Since coming to Japan, I've taken up drinking cold tea. The Japanese cold tea is not sweet and it tastes quite nice. The one I've been drinking is called So Kenbicha. If ever you're in Japan, make sure you check it out and just give it a go. It's actually really refreshing and it quenches my thirst on a hot day. This one's also caffeine free, so I don't have to think about being up all night. Okay, I think Millie approves of her new outdoor area. So let's head off to shopping. First stop is going to be Seria. So I want to compare Seria and Daiso for their camping goods. And if I find anything good, I'm going to get it. Sometimes on a weekend, I like to reward myself with some shopping at the 100 yen shop. I usually only spend about 1,000 yen, that's 10 Australian dollars. And it really makes me feel so good. A bit of retail therapy is always a great way to have fun on your weekend. So Seria's camping goods section has just blown my mind. There were things I didn't even know I needed. But the problem is I haven't really been camping in Japan before and I really don't know what I need yet. I need to go and try camping and slowly work out what bits and pieces I'm going to need. But there are a few things here that I just couldn't resist and I really just wanted to buy it, to try it. It's getting me so excited for the camping car, which is edging ever so close. Thank you so much again to everyone who has helped in some way or another to make this camping car dream a reality. We are literally so close now and I've just never been so excited. I'm going to use some of these camping goods at the end of my video to cook a feast out in the beer garden, so stick around for that. The camping car that I'm looking at buying is called a Suzuki Every, and it's a K car, which means it's a light vehicle here in Japan. It has an engine capacity of 660cc, so I really don't want to put lots and lots of heavy camping gear into the car because its engine isn't that strong. So I'm very conscious of not overpacking and just focusing on getting things that are light. I also found that the camping car comes with a bed kit, and the bed kit is made from a really light aluminium frame. So I think just keeping weight down to a minimum is going to be key for the camping in Japan. I've been telling everyone around me that I'm keen to explore more of my local area of Wakayama, and since doing that, it's resulted in quite a few locals sharing their best kept secrets with me. So now I have a really cool list of all the great places around me that I can go and visit. I can't wait to take you along on these insider secrets that I'm discovering. So now I'm heading off to Daiso, and just to compare it to the camping goods I found at Seria. Just like Seria, Daiso has a really great range of different camping goods, but once again, I really don't know where I'm headed with this and what I'm going to need, so a lot of this is just going to stay on the shelf until I go and try camping for the first time and just work out what I actually do and don't need. So yeah, really not keen on spending any more money just yet. So back home now, and what I did buy, I'd seen a couple of people using these mess tins to cook their rice and their vegetables, and I did want to give that a go before I actually go camping to see if I could successfully cook rice on my gas burner, my little portable gas burner. I am planning on taking Millie with me, but I'm going to do a practice run before I take her just to see what sort of things I might need to keep her safe. So it's time to christen the beer garden with beer and a barbecue. So I'm going to do a Japanese Korean style barbecue today. I picked up some leafy greens and some yummy looking wagyu. I love to have kimchi lotus root as a side dish. Of course, you can't call it a beer garden without beer. So today I'm drinking a beer called PSB, which stands for Perfect Suntory Beer. Did you know it's almost impossible to buy stubby coolers in Japan? I had to order these on Amazon. Maybe that's a good business idea. Maybe I could start my own line of stubby coolers for people who like to drink beer out of the stubby. This tabletop that you saw me painting earlier was in the off-cut or throw-out bin of the hardware store. They were selling this for 50 yen or 50 cents Australian dollars, so super cheap, but just the right size for me. I've just put it on top of a plastic box that I used to store my outdoor barbecue gear in. That's all I'm going to do for this table. It's just the right height and just the right size, and I did 2 coats to seal it up as well. Buying good meat can really make or break your barbecue. So today I spent a little bit extra and got the Wagyu fillet. This cut is a really soft cut. It doesn't have all that much fat in it, but it is really soft, tender and juicy. As I mentioned before, I'm not annoying anyone here because I have a whole laneway behind me, and my neighbours on either side are far away with their living areas facing different directions. I'm not creating any smoke with this barbecue, so I think we're in the clear. I do agree though, it's very important to be mindful of your neighbours when you're living in such close confines. I'm always conscious of making sure I don't offend or upset any of my neighbours with any of the things I do. What a busy weekend it's been. I feel like I'm ready to face summer. I'm ready with an outdoor area that I can sit out in the evening, enjoy a cold beer and watch the stars. From my experience last year, the summers in Japan can be pretty rough. So really I'm doing everything I can to get myself ready for the heat that's about to hit us. We've just had a lot of rain, so I guess the rainy season's here, and I know next up is going to be the humidity. I've really enjoyed spending this weekend with you, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. See ya.